Hello again, everybody, and back to you again. My name is John D. Healy. People know me. My podcast is called It's Good to Talk, and it is good to listen to. They know me because I produced a book a couple of years ago for my friend Stoney McGurn, and that's how it all started. It's his life story from 1941 up until recently. You can get it on Amazon, and it's also on audio, so you have a choice there. My sponsors are Liffey Van Lines, a moving company here in New York City, and they've been around longer than Jeopardy. And when it comes to moving, like Liffey do the lift, and they've moved a lot of famous people down the years, over 50 years. Every time I do a podcast on a Good to Talk, I always get interesting people on with interesting stories. They're all different people, different stories. But I always want to know their story and where they got to and how they got to. And today, my guest is Meg Ryan, not to be confused with another Megan Ryan. If that's the case, I'm Tom Hanks. Megan, hello, and introduce yourself again. Where are you from in Ireland first, and tell us more?
I'm from County Waterford, a little place called Old Parish. It's Wales. Mum's from there, but I was actually born in the Bronx.
Oh, you were born in the Bronx and you speak Irish?
Yes.
You speak Gaelic, or Cat Galore. So we continue, it's in Scale, or else we'll be talking conversation among the two of us here. So you were born in the Bronx and you were brought up in West Cork, is that right? You went to school in Waterford, sorry.
Yeah, so born in the Bronx, lived here till I was 7. Both my parents were Irish, and we decided to go home, back to Old Parish in Waterford. And that's where I kind of grew up for the rest of my years.
So here you are now in New York, and you are promoting whiskies for West Cork distillers, is that right?
Yes.
Talk to us about the brands you have.
So West Cork Irish Whiskey, they're one of the only and the largest solely 100% Irish-owned whiskey company going. The 3 guys who started this company in 2003, they're still the sole owners. And they're all childhood friends. 2 of them are cousins, Ger and Dennis McCarthy, and then John O'Connell. And they just have a passion for the whiskey, and they've created what is now known as West Cork Irish Whiskey. We have 7 different types in the US market, and we also have a gin. And the gin is made by one of the first ever female gin distillers in Europe. So we're very proud of that. And the whiskey is amazing. As you can see, I'm already getting through this bottle. But yeah, it's doing well.
Okay, so what are the other brands called, or why were they different? That's the question.
So this is the original whiskey that we do. It's the bourbon cask. We have 5 blends. So this one is a blend. And what we do is we mature it in a bourbon cask for 4 years. It's old, it's 80 proof. And then the other whiskeys that we do, as I said, 4 other ones are blends as well, but we finish them off in different finishes. So we have a double charred black cask. We have a stout finish. We have an IPA finish. We have a barrel proof, which is 124 proof, not for the week. And we also have 2 single malts. One is a bog oak finish, and the other is a peat finish.
Okay.
So something on the smoke side.
Yeah, I was saying the bog oak one. There's a bar here in New York called Caledonia, which is the Latin name for Scotland, and they have a Scottish one there that's kind of smoky as well. Wouldn't be my favorite. Kind of smells like peat, you know. And
you know, I'm not the biggest smoky whiskey drinker going, but these ones are so nice because they have a more subtle smoke to them. I always tell Scotch drinkers or someone who thinks getting Scotch that it's a great introductory smoky whiskey because it's not empowering, it's not more subtle.
Okay. And distribution, they're here in New York. Where do I get?
So yeah, I have done a lot of big bars downtown and in a few other areas as well throughout the world.
So I was explaining to make a contrast compare, like an economist here. Like Bushmills is the oldest whiskey in the world, and that comes from Antrim in Northern Ireland, and that is definitely considered the oldest distillery in the world. And back in the day, there were only 2 Irish whiskey makers in Ireland, and now, including yourselves, there are about 30. So this is a growing market. USA, the biggest market in the world for all Irish whiskies.
Yeah.
Everything, Tullamore Dew, Jameson, Bushmills included. And the whole history of whiskey went through a lot of ups and downs, going back to the Spanish flu and the Irish Civil War, the American Civil War. But whiskey survived it all. And there was one time wines, I'm a wine connoisseur as well, the wine was affected by a little spider or something that eat all the grapes, and there was no wine, but we were lucky we still had the whiskey. And there's a saying, I'll quote quotations today, sometimes give quotations, and it's from Bushmills, You can use it yourself. You can borrow it, of course. We can share whiskey here. Where there is no pat, you have to make your own pat. That comes from Bushmills. So give us a price range now. How does the price of your West Cork whiskey compare, say, to a Tullamore Dew?
Well, this original bottle that I mentioned earlier, this one I've seen go for anywhere between 25 and 28. So the price is very reasonable, and
Yeah.
the reason for that is that our slogan is that we're whiskey by the people for the people.
I like that.
There's under 200 people working for the distillery as of right now. A lot of them are family related. A lot of them know each other from the parishes.
Right.
They all know each other, and I think the guys wanted to make this whiskey affordable for everyone because it's being made by the community.
Yeah, that's good.
And then we do have the other whiskies. Then they do go up in price as you go,
Of course.
online.
Premium, yeah.
But everything, I think, in liquor stores, you'd find everything under $60.
But if someone makes me their campaign advisor in the up-and-coming elections, I'll be using your slogan, whiskey for the people, by the people, etc., etc., etc. So now we got the price down. I like the way it's priced. That's good because I'm a marketing guy. So price is important. Product is important. Would you say on par again, say, with the Tullamore Dew? Let's mention Paddy's and Powers. They're
Yeah.
good whiskeys too. They're good Irish whiskeys. How would your West Cork whiskey compare with those guys?
Look, I know it's going to sound biased, but I do think we have one of the nicest whiskies on the market. I know Paddy's and Powers, they've been out there a long time, and I think that the demographic that drinks them is a group that won't stray from drinking them.
Okay.
I think anyone who started drinking Paddy's and Powers are going to stay drinking them,
Well, I mean, I know a lot of the Jameson drinkers, a lot of them are kids, really and truly, and I don't want to sound condescending. I know I'll be corrected on that anyways. But it's like the only brand they know is Jameson, and they have plenty of water to water it down a bit. And there are bars that add the water to it before they even serve it, just to help the young kids knock it back, So that's enough of my criticism on Jameson. I'm looking forward to getting your West Cork whiskey in Hendrickson's bar here in New York, and I'll get a side salad or something there with that too, and maybe some homemade roasted chicken. But we'll see how that goes. So tell me more about the future of your whiskey going forward. Is it only sold in bars, or could I go to the liquor store and buy a few bottles?
No, we have it in a few liquor stores as well, and some of the bigger ones that you'd be familiar with are Stu Leonard's, Costco, and then we do have it in smaller stores itself. So in the area I'm in, I don't know if you're familiar with the casino in Yonkers, but there's a big liquor store next to that called M&M Warehouse.
Right.
So they actually do some of the more rare SKUs that we have. They have a 12-year single malt belong to us that is actually very hard to find in the US market right now.
Right. Let's go back a little bit again. I hate going back too far sometimes because 2 weeks ago I did the history of the Good Friday Agreement, and I went back to Easter 1916 with Brian Layden. That's a good podcast in case anyone wants to get a bit of history as well. And the whiskey is always somewhere near. Indeed, some of the soldiers that fought in the Civil War were partial to a drink of whiskey, no doubt. So you said it was two McCarthy brothers and another guy.
The two McCarthy cousins and then their childhood friend, John O'Connell. The McCarthy cousins were deep sea diver fishermen, and John, he had a background in food science, and I suppose they all had an interest in whiskey.
Well, I that's interesting too, because like the science actually comes into a lot of products, like even Guinness, for example. Now it's perfected to a high degree. The quality is good everywhere you go. Maybe 20 years ago, the quality wasn't all that good. And it took a scientist to perfect it. He was actually from Scotland. So the Scottish seem to have a big influence on matters of alcohol when it comes to whiskies and stouts and Guinness and that. And indeed in Cork, where Cork City, Beamish Stout is brewed there, and Murphy's Stout is brewed there, and good old Guinness is forever my favourite. And that's Dublin, of course. So you're saying the future is looking bright for West Cork distillers. And what's my next question? Have you anything else to add? We got the price, we got the location, we got the distribution in. People can get it in Hendrickson's. That's one that's familiar to me. And we can get it in the liquor store. And has the product a website? That's the question for you.
Yeah, we have a website. It's just westcorkdistillers.com. You'll find all the different types of whiskey that we do there. And we also have Instagram pages. My one is WCP_Meg. And West Cork Whiskey have their own general page as well. And you can find different cocktail recipes. And
I was going to ask that, yeah.
Recipes. Yeah.
So, for my listeners, my guest today is Meg Ryan, not to be confused with Meg Ryan from Emails or whatever that movie was with Tom Hanks.
It's in Seattle.
It's in Seattle, yeah. God, I had some West Cork whiskey, I wouldn't be sleepless. Not at all. So, it's Good to Talk podcast. If you like the topic, subscribe. We have more topics coming up in the future weeks. A lot of stuff coming up about James Joyce. Bloomsday is coming up in early June, and we were talking about another bar, Bloom's Bar. I don't know if you're in there yet, but you must check that one out. Meg Ryan is my guest, and you can get into Bloom's Bar on 58th Street, and there's a big celebration there for the James Joyce Bloomsday. So Meg Ryan, it's good to talk, and let's see, do we leave anything out?
That's it. I mean, there is one thing people ask me is what makes us, better than the other whiskies that are on the market. And I know we said earlier there's so many of them on the market as of right now. I normally tell my customers or potential customers that, as I said, we're one of the only 100% Irish owned whiskey companies going. Right. We do everything from grain to bottle, which again, not every distillery can say, and we source everything locally as possible. So all those grains and malts, they're all from,
local
farmers.
Right. Okay, one final question, and usually when I say there's one final question, and I have another question. Let's. Water is important, of course. So the source of water is West Cork, and that's close to nature, no doubt, because I've been to West Cork many times. Beautiful part of the countryside, indeed. Let's talk about the gin. We didn't give the gin a fair shot there.
Yeah.
Pardon the pun. So tell us about the gin, yeah.
Listen, I'm not a gin drinker. I've always been a whiskey girl, but the gin is phenomenal. It is made with 13 different botanicals, and it's named after Garnish Island, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with. It's a tiny little island off of the west coast. And she actually got, Deirdre, who is the gin distiller, she got a lot of botanicals from that island. Right. And it's a very citrusy kind of floral gin.
Right.
It's 2 proof, so it does pack a punch, but it's gorgeous.
So I believe, and the Queen passed away last year, whatever. She was very fond of her gin and tonic at night time, and sad to say, when she gave it up, she died. Her doctor told her to stop drinking gin, and then she died. So she should have stayed with the gin, I think. She might have lived a bit longer. But let's see what the king will drink when he's out to toast.
Yeah.
Or get toasted, maybe, who knows. So when I see you soon, I'm going to get toasted with some whiskey with you.
Absolutely. I'm waiting for you.
Oh, that's so kind of you. See, now you're trying to beat the smuggler none to.
I'll have a full bottle for you.
All right, that sounds good. Anyways, very good to talk today. My guest is Meg Ryan, promoting West Cork distilleries. Lots of whiskey to be shared and talked and drank too, and a gin that'll knock your socks off. So, Meg, I want to say goodbye to you.
Thanks a million, John. It was great talking to you.
If we say Oscailge slán a bhaile, agus scéal eile a bhí an scéal sin go handeas ar fad.
Slán.
Slán.